Thank you. Thanks for being with us. We are replacing the rear wheel cylinders on my wife's Fiat 500. Why? Because, well, they look like this. And as you can see, they are leaking and attracting all sorts of brake dust and debris in the drum there. Hello, you absolute legends. Welcome back to the channel. John here with the inspector on a beautiful Sunday morning here in Lincolnshire. About £30 it's going to cost us to do this, and it's MOT time for my wife's Fiat 500. We had a pre-MOT check with Dad, and he diagnosed that both the rear wheel cylinders on the car have failed to the point where they are leaking. I've ordered some. They've come from our favourite eBay seller, Car Parts in Motion, and we're going to fit them in this video to the car. Fingers crossed, it's not going to be too much of a problem. We're going to clean it all out, and it's going to be another jobbed for the Fiat 500. Although not an MOT fail, something we spotted, so we might as well deal with it for the sake of 30 quid while we're here. In this video, new wheel cylinders for the Fiat 500. Hello, good morning.
Hello, Gromit.
How are you?
I'm all right, my old matey load.
How are you doing? You okay?
I'm all right. I'm looking forward to getting stuck in.
Yeah, a quick half an hour's job this morning with Mrs. John Coupland's pink bug. You identified on the pre-MOT that the wheel cylinders at the back are no good. They're all sweating and leaking. What causes that?
Old age.
Yeah, and it's just easier to replace them than to sort of take them apart and repair them like we did on the Armstrong Siddeley. Yeah. I actually lied to you. I thought we'd got some Febby Bilsteins, but actually we'd bought some APEC ones, and they were actually £15 for the two, not £15 each. APEC, we've had some good stuff from APEC recently. We've had, what have we had? We've had springs and suspension and all sorts of stuff, and this, that and the other, and it's as guaranteed as anything else. So if it's no good, well,
it'll be all right.
It'll be all right. The inspector is here with us. Morning to the inspector. I've said half an hour. It's going to be a little bit more with us messing about with the camera. Just talk us quickly through the process.
Jack it up, put some axle stands under it, take the wheels off, take the drums off, take the wheel cylinders off, clean it all out, put it back together, bleed the brakes. Fingers crossed the brake pipes are okay. I haven't seen any problems with the brake pipes. We'll see. The brake pipe inspector will tell us. Stay with it then. We're going to do the work on Mrs. John Coupland's Fiat 500. Question I wanted to know, and I think we're going to address in the intro and the outro. MOT is tomorrow. Right. Would the current state of play with the wheel cylinders have caused it to fail an MOT or advisory on an MOT? What? All depends what it was showing up on the rollers.
Yeah.
Mate.
Okay, fair enough. Well,
might have shown imbalance because one was quite bad, really.
For the sake of 30 quid all in,
it's got to be done, hasn't it?
We've got to do it. Okay, let's do it.
This paint's just falling off here, you know.
What, off the wheels?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not very good. They need a bit of a refurb. Really lets the car down, actually, doesn't it, the wheels? Off comes the centre caps. And you're going to need the locking wheel nut tool, aren't you?
Certainly am, son.
It's going to be in the boot here.
We're going to want the bonnet undone so we can... Oh, this is bad, this wheel, isn't it?
Aha! Locking wheel nut tools. You've just mentioned we need the bonnet open. What's that for?
Well, I'm going to take some brake fluid out to start with.
Oh, right. We'll get the bonnet out. Oh, blooming Italians. It's the other side. You can tell where the inspector's been this morning as well.
Blooming Italians. Are they big or little?
What's that, the wheel nuts?
Well, you've got the locking wheel nut tool in your hand, haven't you?
I would say the locking wheel nut tool is 17.
Okie dokie.
Soon find out.
Ready to rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. Do not use your impact wrench on the locking wheel nut tool.
No, don't do that. That would be bad news.
As I've said before, you might get away with it 10 times, but the 9 times, but the 10th time, you'll wish you'd not done it.
So before we jack the car up, we're going to obviously crack the nuts off.
I'm going to try using that jacking point.
So this is a bit of a bone of contention with me with Fiat 500s.
That should be all right there, John, shouldn't it?
Yeah, let's go for it. A lot of Fiats that you see have got the sills crunched.
But they've done it under there, haven't they?
The reason being is people have done it where this arrow is. There's a little arrow here, as you can see. And it just causes them to crunch. Yeah. I don't like that.
No, I'm not going to do it.
You know, a lot of people will be shouting at us now, saying that is the jacking point. That is where it should be jacked up, X, Y and Z. It's just not worth the risk, is it? of us crunching that
That's
sill.
where you'd put your 4-post lift. 2-post lift.
Now, we're actually going to do both sides at the same time while we've got each tool out and while we've got each piece available. Obviously, if you're working on your own, on your driveway, and you don't have 2 jacks and loads of axle stands and loads of tools, then obviously you're going to have to do it one side at a time. But just for ease and for time, and because we know what we're doing, we're going to do it both at the same time. So we'll take the wheels off, we'll take both off. When we take the drums off, we'll take the drums off, X, Y and Z.
It does look as though you could jack it up in the middle of the beam, but it's bad practice, because you never know.
I suppose you could bend it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where actually are you jacking it up from then?
Under the bottom of the springs.
Bottom of the spring, so not the axle.
I shall put some axle stands under them jacking points.
I was going to say safety first, we're going to have axle stands in.
Yeah.
Or jack stands if you're in the US, but we're not. So it's axle stands. Axle stand man. What you got that wood for?
And do some woodwork.
Chock your front wheels. Or chock one of the wheels. Just to stop it from buggering off.
Safety first.
Says the man who was drilling into a wheel cylinder in his hand the other day.
So what? It'd been bad practice if I was on an apprentice training scheme. You'll drill your hand. You will if you only do it once.
This is the view I've got right now. Hello, thank you. The inspector. Stop being needy. Okay, they're in place. Now we can drop the car down onto them. What you got there?
What do you got there?
Oh, what is that? So, okay, shameless plug time. We've been sent a one. It's a copy Makita, isn't it? What is that? It's the One Van impact driver. You've had it for a couple of weeks now. I think they're about 60 odd quid from, well, they're from China, aren't they? What do you reckon?
Well, I've not used it on one van yet.
No, we're going to play with it.
We've only got one van on the fleet.
Yeah, we're going to play with it today. We're going to use it. You said in...
Well, it'll work on a car, I don't know.
Well, you said in a recent video, I want an impact driver.
Yeah.
So the good team at One Van sent us that to have a play with.
Thank you very much.
It was free. We're not getting paid to tell you how brilliant it is. But they've sent it to us to do an honest review. We have had a little bit of a problem with it, trying to use it on the car the other day. But do you reckon you've got used to it now?
It undid that, didn't it?
Yeah. Is that on the full max
No.
torque settings?
No, I'm on lowest power setting. They'd already cracked them, so I didn't rattle them.
No.
It undid them.
So it looks like a Makita, even the battery looks like a Makita. Does that battery work on a Makita drill?
Which way round did I tell you it was?
I think you told me that a Makita battery worked on that.
Yeah, but this won't work on a Makita.
No.
And I'm not going to ruin the Makita trying many times.
No. The way that you charge it up as well is dubious. There's like a little, I don't know, 12 volt adapter inside the battery. I'm not going to leave it plugged in charging overnight. I don't know about you.
When I charged it, I'd got it on a chair outside.
Anyway, if it's no good...
It's a confidence thing as well, though, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But we'll be doing some more work with the One Van
Yeah.
in the next few videos.
Giving some One Van one really good testing. We want some really tight stuff to try it on.
Well, what we could do is torque up something really tight and do like a torque test. Get an old hub or something and tighten stuff up to different torques and see if it will work. Right, off come the wheels. Ta-da! And actually you can see that these hubs and these drum covers, drums are really grotty. I mean, they are technically drum covers. Well, the paint really is coming off these, isn't it? It's coming off in my hands. Drum cover inspector.
What do you think, Crystal? No, they're brake drums, Grandad. Even I know that, I'm a dog.
Right, so in theory, those drums will now come off with a little bit of persuasion. Ta-da! Off it comes. And now we can see the rabbit. Well, that one seems a bit tighter.
Doesn't he want to come off, Gromit? Oh no, I've got the tool.
Ah, tool of the week. Is that something you've fabricated?
It is, yes.
Is your dad an engineer?
No.
There you are, she's off. So there you go, as you can see, that is the wheel cylinder. And it's all covered in brake dust because it's, well, look at that. It's all rusty and rotten and damp and weeping. Okay, so we've just had a look at those wheel cylinders. The offside is particularly bad.
Yes, mate.
What's happened there? It's all covered in, I don't know, rust and
corrosion,
stuff.
corrosion and old age, and generally just wear.
So do you reckon they're the original ones on the car?
We'll have a look when we take it to bits, don't we?
It should say obviously Fiat, Lancia, whatever printed on it.
And actually say Ford, Enfo.
It actually might, because it uses the same sort of chassis as the Ford Ka, or the Ford Ka, or the Ford KA.
What is the proper way of saying that?
What is the proper way?
Yeah.
I'm going to say the Ford Ka. Ford Ka.
Right, let's have a clean up, because these look a bit Grotsville.
For those of you that want to see the near side, it isn't as bad, but it is still, well, as you can see, weepy. It's not as bad as the other, but it's also failed. And whilst we're doing the job, you'd be mad not to, right? So what I'm going to do before we start taking it apart?
Yeah,
I'm going to just make sure that these are the right things.
Components.
Wheel cylinder inspector. Maybe. Well, they seem to be the same sort of thing. Angular at the top, square at the bottom, bolted in. And then when you look down this way, you've obviously got the bleed nipple at the top. Yeah, and the brake pipe there. The pistons and the piston sort of rubber looks a little bit different, but should be okay. What are you doing? Hang on a minute, you've been using your heat gun?
Just been putting some fresh bits of plastic on my clamps.
What do you need clamps for?
Gently close off the brake hose.
What we did see quickly is you remove the brake fluid reservoir cap.
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
Because I'm going to be taking some brake fluid out sometime, and I was just not wasting my time.
How's the job looking so far?
Rush. Rough.
What's next?
Clean off the corrosion from around the back. Let's see if we can get this undone. It's looking all right, son. It's looking all right, mate.
So you're loosening up the brake pipe.
No, I'm just making sure I can get the bolts out there. Now, why is that a good idea?
You've found a problem.
It's not a problem, but yeah,
We've hit a snag,
well, it's not a snag.
but we've hit a design flaw.
Well, it's a bit silly, really.
So talk me through it.
Well, one of the bolts of the wheel cylinder is fouled up against the bracket that holds the back plate to the axle.
Oh,
It's not the end of the world, but
it's just poor design.
well, very strange.
So there's some hex bolts holding the back plate and the hub onto the chassis there, on the arm.
There's one at the bottom somewhere.
Uh-oh. Big problem.
It's not a big problem, is it?
Well, it's put a spanner in the works a little bit. That brake shoe has failed. It was on the way
I'm
out.
pleased it is anyway.
What's that?
I'm pleased it's done it.
Why?
Because I would have done it when we've got it fixed, wouldn't
Yes, that's a good point. So I need to ring my friends at AP Titan and get some new brake shoes this morning. So we've just had to have a quick ring round, and we've spoken to our friends at AP Titan. Thankfully they're open until 12 o'clock, and we're doing this quite early on a Saturday. Apparently, according to the man in the shop, they're a pain in the bum, the rear rear brake
I think
shoes.
it's because they're different sizes.
Because they're all different sizes. We've got some 180s off the shelf. £35, including the VAT, which I think is a winner-winner considering we need them straight away.
He said he wanted the diameter of the drum, didn't he?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, well, we've measured it, mate.
We've measured it, 181 on there. So I'm going to nip down to AP Titan. Meanwhile, you've got the rear all apart. Just talk us through that.
Yeah, because you can't get one of the shoes, the bolts for the wheel cylinder, you can't get it out.
Just show us what you've had to do.
Right, long story short, you had to come round here and look, mate.
Oh yeah, you show me. Hang on a minute, let's come behind. Oh, I can't see. Let me get my camera in there. Hang on.
That bottom bolt touches that bracket.
Oh yeah, it does, doesn't it?
It's the bottom bolt for the wheel cylinder.
Right. So how are we going to get it off then? I have to take it all apart.
You're going to take the hub off, then take these two Allen screws loose.
Yeah.
And then I can do it.
So let's just have a look what you've done. So you've removed the hub. You've removed the hub nut.
Yeah, I've removed the hub nut and the hub.
And
tomorrow at the other side, we'll be able to really test.
Oh yeah,
the
hub nut. So this all has to be removed. You've got to take all that back plate off, everything out, the shoes and everything. Well, good news, we need to replace them shoes. Yeah, good. Interestingly, Mrs. John Coupland said to me, after you did the pre-MOT on my car, it's making a funny noise at the back.
Yeah.
Could have been that, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Good. Right, I'll go to AP Titan. Oh, I'm going to drive your Peugeot, is that okay?
Yeah. Are you man enough to drive
the Peugeot? So what are you going to be doing whilst I'm at AP Titan?
I'm going to be cleaning all this up and trying to get them bolts on.
Stripping it all down. Good.
Yeah.
Right, I've returned from AP Titan and I've spent £36 on some of these. The well-known brand Duratec. Ever heard of them?
No.
No. But we hopefully got us out of a sticky situation. Meanwhile...
Duratec.
You've been busy. What have you been doing?
I've been getting this took to pieces.
It looks a bit of a mess, to be honest with you, in there.
It's a bit grotty. Don't damage that. That's the ABS sensor.
Oh, right. Yeah, don't hit that. So you've taken off the back plate. You've taken off... I'm getting showered in dust and rot. You've taken off the old wheel cylinder.
This is tomato juice from Italy.
It's a bit of a mess, isn't it, in there?
I'm getting it cleaned up a bit anyway while I'm here.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Just because it's good practice.
So you've been using the brake and clutch cleaner to clean it all out. And obviously we'll clean all this back plate off. What's this here?
That's the back plate, John.
No, this. What's this?
That's the handbrake cable.
Aha, yes, good. Apparently a nuisance to replace.
What, the handbrake cable?
Yeah. There you go. That's what's causing us problems. So actually, go on, you say it.
Not wasting her time then.
We're not wasting our time.
Little green bug thing, inspecting.
Oh, right, good. So we're going to get all that cleaned up. We're going to get it all put back together, and then we'll show you properly the process of doing it on the other side. Just years of corrosion.
How do you know the handbrake cables are terrible to do then?
Well, because when I was Googling the size of the braking system and how to remove the backplate, etc., people were saying be careful of the handbrake cable because it's a nightmare to replace.
Oh, right. I can assure you that the bloody wheel cylinders are a nightmare to replace.
Yeah, we thought it was going to be an easy job.
Who would have believed a smart car is easier to work on than a Fiat 500?
I think we need a change of plan, do we?
Well, now I'm just going to put that in some solvent and let it soak whilst I... let's have a cup of tea.
Ah, sounds a good plan.
I would take the back plate off, but there's a spring clip there and it's a bit corroded on that handbrake cable.
Ah.
So if I take that spring clip off and it breaks, I'm buggered. So I'm going to leave it on.
Crystal doing her best sea lion impression. That's giving the drum a bit of a clean off. Rocky. This job that I thought was going to take half an hour is going to turn out to be a bit of a nightmare, isn't it? But we're going to do
I
it.
wouldn't say it's a nightmare, no, but it's not as easy as doing them on a Smart 4.2.
Right, T-brake over. Well, in fact, it's on the go. The T-brake inspector is here. What's the plan? Where are we at?
We're at the point where I need a brogler.
A brogler? So time to fit this new wheel cylinder then, and it goes through the back plate. And now we can actually put the nuts in place.
Screws? Screws, Gromit, screws.
Screws in place. Now we've got it off there. In they go. So just to clarify, if anyone wanting to do this job, they have to take that back plate off, don't they?
Well, no, you ain't got to take it off. You've got to loosen it.
To pull it forward and be able to get to them screws.
Yeah.
That's bad design, really.
It is. Don't damage the ABS.
No, that's the important bit. What would happen if you did damage that? It's
And buy a new one.
fitting a new one. Are they expensive pieces of kit, do you reckon?
But if you got one from Fiat, it would be.
And then refit the brake pipe into the back there. That back plate looks nicer now you've cleaned it all off.
Oh.
In go the securing bolts. You've tightened up the brake pipe there at the back, that looks good. You've tightened up the back plate and the wheel cylinder is nice and tight. What's next? Put the new shoes on.
Yes, mate.
Aha, here they are. The new rear shoes, £36 from AP Titan. Let's make sure they're the right sort of thing. Oh, we don't get any new springs.
No, you've got a fitting kit.
So you're taking apart the springs.
Well, this is going to be be careful. Is that going to be very nice to do?
No.
So that goes through there, that goes through there.
So you've laid that out pretty much the way you've taken it apart, just to make sure. Let's get the new shoes open.
Yes.
Aha, now we've laid them out. They are handed, so you can get them wrong. So make sure that you've matched them up. There's the old ones, there's the new ones. So what's that mechanism there?
It's the self-adjusting mechanism which we've got to clean. I'm just being careful I don't drop bits all over.
It's best practice to replace that as well, isn't it?
Well, I don't know about that, but the screw can get the springs and things.
So you've reattached the handbrake cable to here, and now what do we do?
Slowly put it together, son.
So it's not a case of build it all on the deck like we took it apart, and then attach it.
You really could do, but you struggle to get that on.
Right. Is there a special tool to get the handbrake cable on, or a special trick?
No, just do it.
So you've got the other side put together. We're just checking it with the inspector.
Is it all right, girl? Rough.
You're being very needy today. What you're being so needy for? It's fireworks season and she doesn't like it. She knows. Yeah, that looks good, doesn't it? It looked like devil's work to put together. So I'm... Grandad, stop worrying about these.
God, you're a furry girl.
Yeah, it's molting season, I'm afraid.
You're
Good.
furry.
So you've built that like
She's
that.
a furry.
And now it's time to put it back on the
I
car.
identify as very furry, Grandad.
Yeah, very furry. So it was easier to take it off and build it on the floor.
We'll see when we can get it together now.
You've just said that bit's devil's work. I don't want to distract you, but what is it you're putting on?
But if that thing flies over yonder,
We're in a mess.
well, I bet you the ones in your fitting kit have gone.
What is it?
It's the brake shoe retaining device.
Oh yeah, that looks great fun. Well, it all just sort of pinged into place. I'm guessing you've got another retaining piece to put in there, haven't you? But that looks better. In it goes.
That's how I keep my thumb over it at all times.
That's to stop it from going
Well, in
ping.
case it does, my thumb's there.
If it goes flying across the workshop, you'll never find it, I'm assuming.
Over the lawn.
There it is then. There is it all rebuilt. New wheel cylinder, a new brake pad. Well, they're not pads, are they? Shoes. That's the correct term, John. And you've cleaned it all out. Now, how are you feeling about that job? Happy?
Drumming, well,
Not what we expected to be doing this
no, to be honest
Sunday
with you,
morning,
no.
but...
I'm going to check the self-adjuster works now.
So you've asked me to work the handbrake.
Yeah, just try the handbrake first.
Okay.
Don't pull it all the way up, though.
Okay, what's the purpose for us
I
doing
want to see
this?
if it's working all right.
Oh, right, okay, ready?
Yeah. Off. Okie dokie. That works a treat, doesn't it?
You tell me, you can see the blubber. Cool, that looks nice and shiny.
We've had a bit of a clean up, son.
You've had a clean up on there, it was all flaking, horrible paint. I'm assuming we're going to
We haven't got an hub on yet, but
a blast of paint when we get going. What are you doing? You're so needy.
right, so shoes are on. We'll leave the hub off for a second in case we have a problem. So we'd better bleed at the brake.
You're using a turkey baster.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's one that you've had in the shed and not one that Mum uses at Christmas.
Hey, we don't have turkey until Christmas, do we? So
No.
in between Christmas and the rest of the year, I use it for this.
You're taking out some brake fluid. What's the purpose of that?
Well, then when we bleed it, we'll be putting nice new brake fluid through the system.
Fair enough. You're not going to drain the whole system though?
No, we are not. That would be the silliest thing we can think of doing, because we should finish up with ABS fault.
Time to bleed the brakes then. You've got the old school here, milk bottle and pipe. I did buy you some...
And I actually used it the other day.
brake bleeding stuff. I don't know what it is. It's a vacuum one, isn't it?
Yes, mate.
And you used it?
I did use it.
When did you use that? Tripping over the dog?
I was doing the back caliper on my Peugeot, and the car was that tight against the wall I couldn't get to the driver's seat anyway.
Yeah.
So I used your brake bleeder thing.
Good. There's no sausages in there.
Right, Crystal, are you pressing the brake pedal or is John?
Let's do it. Let's bleed. Let's breathe. I can't say this. Let's bleed the brakes.
Okay, down.
All the way down.
Up, down, up, down, up. Did you hear the self-adjuster work?
I didn't, no. Maybe on the video it's picked it up, but I didn't personally.
Just do it again. On and off. Off.
Ah, I heard that happen.
That's the ratchet on the self-adjuster working.
That's good news.
It jolly well is. So, but now what you've got to do, John boy, is make sure that that springs in, that's on correctly, that's on correctly, that springs in there, it's through that little hole there, that springs in and wrapped round there, that's on there, and that's on there.
Good.
Now we're going to put the
Hub nut.
on.
The hub nut inspector is here.
We'll inspect these brakes. Now,
You,
careful.
messes,
We're going to have a bit of nice new clean grease in there.
are being a needy old woof.
What we need to do, John boys, is to know the correct torque setting for this.
Let's find that out.
I did put some more grease in that bearing because it seemed as though it needed topping up.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to go back together again.
Oh dear. So you won't be taking the other side apart?
No,
No.
I shall do it in situ.
Fair enough.
I shall do the bugger in situ.
280 Newton meters, the torque setting on the hub nut. You've used the one van.
You got it very near.
It did get it very near.
I didn't rattle it many times.
No.
So, Mrs. Coupland's hub nut is tight.
On goes the grease and dust cover. So we've just tested the self-adjusters by pumping the pedal out. They worked. How do we know they worked?
It click, you could hear it click.
Good.
Click, 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 click.
So that is one side rebuilt. New wheel cylinder, new brake shoes, hub nut tied up. We're going to paint that. Considering we don't normally do lots of work on Mrs. John Coupland's car, we've actually done a good job of that, or you've done a good job, I should say.
What we will do, we'll check it for leaks when we've got the other side done on the bleed nipple and the brake union, yeah?
Sounds good. We're not wasting our time.
Oh, bloody well aren't.
Now to do the other side.
Done a good job of that, Crystal, haven't we, mate?
Ah, we're painting these up. Cool. Might as well make a good job of it. It's time to do the near side, so it's exactly the same. I won't labour that, but we'll just have the highlights of doing the near side.
I'm going to test the undoing capability.
Cool, look at all these tools you've got here. Yeah. That looks relatively neat.
The one van.
Oh, that's the Makita style impact driver we've been sent.
I'm going to test the one van.
In what sense?
See if it'll undo this hub nut.
Okay, fair enough. And if it does, then it's doing a good job, I suppose.
Not too bad, is it?
Well, that hub nut looks nice and shiny.
Excellent.
This side obviously not as bad, but still quite bad. Right, here we go then. Ready? Well, it made light work of that, didn't it?
Yeah.
Would your Makita have done that?
No.
No. There you go.
It's only a 3/8 drive impact driver, isn't it? Be careful, because there's all washers and doofers in there. We'll deal with that later.
Well, I'm impressed with that.
The one van,
Did a good job of that.
it soon rattled that off, didn't it?
Off comes that shoe retaining spring. Same again yon side.
Over yonder.
Out comes that setup. So now the brake shoes are off, you can take these off, which secures the back plate to the car.
Ow!
Well, the one van coming up trumps again.
Keep wanting to call it the King Bowl.
No, that's the scanner.
You see now that bit of wire has gouged my finger
Oh,
wide open.
ouch. Do you need to get some first aid? Do you need a defib?
No.
I've just had a first aid course. Do you need me to do my vital signs, secondary survey? Hello, I need some help over here.
If I have one of them sort of bloody needing that bloody chest, if I need my ribs breaking, you're the man for the job today, are you?
Yeah. So now you're removing the screws to the wheel cylinder?
I'm taking the bleed nipple out while it's held firm.
Oh, right.
So it's out my bloody way. Damage your ABS sensor.
No. That'd be bad news. Thankfully that bleed nipple isn't seized on there. The good news is brake dust is actually a hemostatic.
Is it?
I don't know. Right, so now comes the handbrake cable out of that bracket. Now it's time to take the back plate off.
This design is poo, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not a great job, is it? The fact that you've got to take it all apart just to get to them wheel cylinder bolts or screws. It's not ideal at all.
No, it's poo. If you work in the Fiat 500 garage and somebody says, some wheel cylinders want doing, I'm busy, governor, I'm busy.
Heat required. So we're struggling to get the brake pipe off the wheel cylinder this side.
I'm not struggling. It's just
Proving difficult. Aha, it's off. How did you get it off?
I put that bar through the cylinder and a pair of grips on it.
Oh, brilliant news. That wouldn't be a way of doing it if we needed to reuse the cylinder, but...
No.
Hot, 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 hot. Right, now that's off, we can take, finally, the back plate off.
We're on it.
It's all right, yeah. Good. Now that can be soaked and cleaned.
Yeah,
This can all be cleaned off.
It's so rusty this side.
It isn't as bad this side, no. Yes, not as rusty as at all. Why do you think that this side is not as rusty as the other side?
I always this feeling, this side of the car gets more splash from puddles.
Oh, that's yes.
So the road salt, I don't know, it might be.
No, that's a good point, isn't it?
But
It'll all sit on the other
side of
side.
the car usually doesn't rust as much as the offside.
Good point. There you are.
It's all to do with the salt.
Ah, the mobile parts bath has arrived. What have you got in there that you're cleaning that back plate off with?
Recyclable, non-flammable, eco-friendly solvent.
It's petrol, right?
This one.
Yeah. Dad's working on the near sights. I'm spraying these covers. Those are looking much better. How are you getting on?
And me?
Yeah.
Whoa.
You're fitting the new wheel cylinder. Has it gone on okay?
Jolly well has some, yeah.
And the brake pipe's gone
In
in.
the real world, though, this is about as far as you'd need to tip it to change the wheel cylinder.
Yeah. So you wouldn't actually physically need to remove the back plate.
No, and you could get away without taking the shoes off, I think.
The only reason we're
There's a bit
doing
of
that,
manoeuvring.
obviously, because we're replacing the shoes. Right, that is the near side all back together, and in fact, actually, it went together better than the off side. Dad is currently greasing the hub and the hub bearing, and then we'll put it all back together. On goes the hub nut. 280 Newton meters. Oh, the one van's out again. Oh, it wasn't far off though, was it? Right, so the hub nut is torqued, it's all back together. I'm guessing it's time to bleed the brakes. That looks better, doesn't it? Okay, so we've bled the system, it seems all right. We've got some copper grease on there, ready to put the wheels on. Going on this side. We're currently watching the live auction at Anglia Car Auctions as well. There is a Proton Satria Sport going through. I've been to look at it. It's not for me. But if you like every single panel with sort of like a, I don't know, it seems to have been hailed all over, then it's, I think it's, what's it going to make? What do you reckon it's going to make? Don't know. 600 quid is what we're going for. I think it's going to be a bit more than that, but we shall soon find out. Anyway, time to put the wheels on our own classic today, here in Lincolnshire. Well, there'll be a full video coming to the channel, but that Proton has just sold at auction. £1,100.
Well, it's nearly twice as much as what we thought.
Yes, certainly twice as much as what I would have been prepared to pay for it. Anyway, a full video, by the way, on that Proton that's just gone through auction, coming to the channel. The wheels, though, are back on the Fiat 500, and we're going to take it for a test drive, right?
You are.
You don't want to be seen dead in the pinky.
You'll know if
the axle stands have come out, and we're going to lower it down.
You'll know if the brakes are all right.
I've torqued the wheels up. I've left the hubcaps off because, well, there's no point in putting them on when there could be a problem. We'll take it for a test drive, take it up and down the road, make sure the brakes are okay, and go from there. Right, well, I've taken it for a test drive. What have you found that side?
I'm sending this to Mrs.
No,
JC.
don't do that. Don't. I'm in big trouble. So I took it for a little bit of mudsliding.
WhatsApp this to your Amy.
I decided to take it down the back roads. I was swinging it round corners. I was actually mudsliding.
Yeah.
So I'm glad. Do you know what? I'm really glad I didn't jet wash the undersides off. Do you know what? Why? Do you know why that's happened? Mrs. Woman in her post van would not pull over on Wythes Lane, so I've had to really hammer it down there. I better get my hose pipe out. Yeah, I'm going to be in trouble for that. But apart from that, it's all good, isn't it?
Good.
It's all good. Have you sent that to Mrs. JC?
It all depends what. How do I put this?
This sounds like blackmail. All done and dusted. What's left to do?
Take your dog home and give her a dinner.
Yes, take the inspector home. She needs some dinner. Put the centre caps in. Jobs are good. You're happy that that's a job that's done?
Pain in the arse, wasn't it?
Yeah, for something that I thought was going to take 30 minutes, it's taken us
all day.
Well, nearly all day. Yeah, we started at 9 o'clock and it's 4 o'clock now. Anyway, thanks for that. You happy it's going to pass an MOT?
Well, I now want to read a Fiat workshop manual to see how they say do it.
Well, that can be some bedtime reading.
Yeah, locate it to me and send me it.
Good stuff.
Email me the instructions.
If you've enjoyed the video, thumbs up please. Don't forget to comment down below. Have you done this job? Was it as much of a problem for you? We haven't wasted our time by doing the pads and everything at the same time. We've done a good job.
If you can get out of doing that job, I should get out of doing it.
Good. Like the video if you haven't, subscribe if you haven't, comment down below. Until next time, thanks for watching, thanks for your hard work. Take care. See ya. As ever, thank you for watching this video. Dad and I have selected a couple more videos for you that we think that you might like. They're here now. Just give them a click to watch them. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. It means a lot to us. Thank you.